Alright, what's up everybody? This is Rich, the Side-Eye Stitcher. Coming at you this week with my weekly update. It's kind of uneventful compared to previous weeks. I have a hard time calling this a floss tube this week, mainly because I can't actually remember if I did any cross-stitching. I've been powering through some quilts, which I'll show you here in this video. 3 of them actually, so it's been really exciting to see some progress on a couple of those. They're in the background behind me here. I finished up two full-size quilt tops, which I'll show you, and then I also finished up I quilted a throw and put binding on it and got it backed and got everything good to go. And those are really, that's really the updates for this week. Like I said, I didn't get to do a lot of stitching. It's been so hot, and there's been so many things going on, and work has been crazy, and it's been a busy week. So I brought my cross stitch. I brought the baby Yoda with me back and forth to work so that at lunchtime I could do it, and then conveniently every day at lunchtime something came up, and I wasn't able to get anything done. But today I think I'm going to do something a little different. As you can see, we're in a slightly different change of scenery here. I've swapped the camera around. I've set up a fancy overhead camera that you can't really see out of this frame. Sorry if I keep looking down. I'm trying to make sure that I'm in frame on my iPad and the camera's in front of me. But this week I think something a little different is I'm going to make a curtain. And I'm going to take you guys along with me. It'll probably just be a quick time lapse of me sewing. I have an excessive amount of 2.5-inch blocks and a lot of different blues and grays. They're just scraps that I brought to my mother-in-law, and she used her AccuQuilt to cut me out. I mean, there's got to be 1,000 2.5-inch squares here. Like I've said before, I'm living in an RV right now due to my circumstances, and up in my bedroom there's one window that's not currently blocked by anything else, and it's so hot out, and during the summertime right now that when the sun just comes blaring in, it gets really warm. So I'm not looking for something to totally block the sun out and make the room dark. I'm just looking for something to kind of diffuse the light so that it doesn't get quite so warm up there. Like right now, to film this, I've had to turn the AC air conditioner off, and as you can tell, I'm already sweating a little bit. So it's kind of par for the course right now. Hang on, I'll show you what exactly I'm trying to make. Got my kind of makeshift design wall over there. It's a piece from an old desk that I can pin things up to. So this is really kind of what I'm going for. Totally random. I'm not following any kind of pattern. I'm not trying to achieve anything except for enough fabric and enough blocks that I can put it over the window and block the light. I see this as kind of a good exercise so that I can work on nesting seams and being a little more intentional with how I'm pressing things and making sure that they're going from side to side correctly. I have another project that I've been working on too that I think I've mentioned before. It's from the Sherry and Chelsea Family Favorites book. It's the first sampler block, and it's got, I'm piecing together as a bunch of half square triangles and some flying geese and some square and square. And I recorded another video that I'm currently working on editing and trying to figure out how I want to do it. It's the first scripted video that I've made, and it sounds extremely robotic. So I'm trying to figure out how to not sound so robotic. But I've had a lot of problems with my flying geese and the square and square, to be completely honest with. Even though they're snowballed corners, they're just not coming out the dimensions that they're supposed to be when it's all said and done. I've pre-pressed, I've meticulously cut these out so that they're the dimensions that the instructions say, and I have put so much effort into it, and they still come up either an 1/8 to a 1/4 inch short, which makes the whole block short. And when you're trying to pair different parts of the block together, I just end up short and nothing lines up. So it's been a little frustrating, but I've been working through that, and I've discovered that, I need some practice with my flying geese, and I need some practice with nesting seams. So that's kind of what I'm I'm doing with this this current block. I'll input the video. I'm going to do some video of the quilts that I've finished this week so everybody can see them after I get done. And then, so there's the 3 quilts that I already mentioned, and there's one more, which is actually my very first quilt that I made about just 4 or 5 months ago at this point. It was a free pattern online from the Weekend Quilter. Pretty sure that's what her name is. And it's just a real simple geometric pattern. It's got 4 colors. You'll get to see it here in a second, but I've had the backing for it. I've had the batting for it. I've had everything. I just haven't been confident enough to get it on the sewing machine and get it quilted. And I finally started that process, but then conveniently I ran out of the thread that I was using. So I had to order more thread. So that one's kind of on hold. It's about halfway done. But you'll see that in a second too. I'm working through that one, which is fun. But I think right now I'm going to swap to the overhead cam so that you can see, and then it's just going to be a quick time lapse of me building some curtains. And I might film another video when it's all said and done and show you how that outcome goes. But I'm going to turn the AC back on, and you're just going to see the overhead shot and of the progress, and it'll be quick. And thank you for tuning in for this week's updates, and hope to see you again next week. Here we have the Grand Canyon quilt from Quilting the National Parks by Stephanie Forster. This was a really fun one to sew. There was lots of curves, which was a bit of a challenge. I chose to do the sun first, which I think I mentioned in a previous update was a glutton for punishment. Wanted to knock that one out and get it done. And here we have the Courthouse Zine. It's just a series of Courthouse Steps blocks that I chose a bunch of random colors and patterns. This was a Toad and Sew freebie. It was just signing up for the newsletter on her website. This one was from the Modern Landscape Quilts. This one was simple. This was one of the first ones that I did a little while ago. I just wanted to experiment with throw just to get some practice in. This was my first time doing the round circular cuts. It was a challenge, but I made it through. This one was my first quilt. This one I got done a while ago. I'll have the link in the description for this one. I've got the batting, and then this is some Joann's special fabric. There's some bunching in it. I had some challenges doing the basting and everything for it. Okay, everybody, I'm back. That took way longer than I thought it was going to. A couple hours. I learned a couple lessons on that one. I have a completed curtain. Not 100% sure how I'm going to hang it up yet. Like I said, it's just going over a little half window in my bedroom. Just trying to block the light. I don't know that I'm going to do anything fancy with batting or quilting or anything like that. I might just hook it up just so that it's getting up there and blocking the light. Half of the blocks I cut by hand, and half of them I had my mother-in-law use the AccuQuilt. And the size differences are drastic on some of them. So don't look too closely at my points, because I did my best to try and nest seams and get everything ready. But when the blocks are just different sizes, it makes it almost impossible. But I still have, you can see the stack behind me. I still have an extensive stack of 2.5 inch squares. So I might make some more, and we'll see how that goes. But thank you for coming along with me for this adventure, and I'll see you next week.